Can you see that? My bed isn't made? Kind of. Let's ignore that. Hi. It has been a hot minute since I've done like a reading challenge. This Throne of Glass plot recap thing has just been like consuming my life, but I am happy to say that I am feeling like it is time for a reading challenge. I wanted to do something fun, something zesty, and when I was looking at all of the current reading challenges out there, nothing was really hitting hard with me. So it occurred to me, why don't I just come up with my own? If there is another creator out there who has done this challenge before, I'm not trying to take credit for it. I just legitimately have not seen this done before as a reading challenge. But to my knowledge, I believe I'm the first booktuber to do this. If that's not the case, I apologize. The challenge that I thought of is one that we can actually do together. And it's also gonna take multiple videos. I'm guessing like 7 or 8. That'd be really cool if it's like 7 or 8. Anywho, the reading challenge that I'm gonna be doing that you can do along with me is the Reading the Alphabet Challenge. So here are the rules. You have to read 26 books in order from A to Z with a title that starts with that letter. So for example, today we're gonna be reading books A, B, and C, which means I'm gonna be reading 3 books. One is gonna have a title that starts with the letter A, one title is gonna start with the letter B, and the other title is gonna start with the letter C. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. Just do that 23 more times until you get to Z. Let's start with book A, because I already have the physical copy of book A with me, but for A, I'm gonna be doing All of Us Villains. What's funny is that one day my husband took me to Barnes & Noble's. He does not enjoy reading at all, but he did take me to Barnes & Noble's and he says, hey, if you get me a book, I'll read it. I guess he just felt like he was open to trying reading. I spent a very long time looking through all of the books. I knew this was my opportunity. This was my chance. And although he's not like a reader, he did say that he really enjoyed this book and he read it pretty fast. So I have high hopes for this. I remember him talking about the book a lot when he read it, and he basically said it was like kind of like a Hunger Games style, but they had magic, which I also realized sounds like I'm defining powerless. Let's just read the back actually, because I don't really know what this is about. Oh, so it's a secret tournament to the death. And there are 7 different families that their children have to fight in it to like represent their family. And whatever family wins gets magic. Interesting. This is the most exciting part. I just finished work, right? And tomorrow I have the day off because it's 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. Friday, I have a half day. And then I have the whole weekend to read. I'm very pumped because that's a lot of reading time. I'm gonna just actually set a timer for like 3 hours and just read. I don't know why I get jittery whenever I go to start a new book that I know nothing about. It's like excitement jitters, almost kind of like that first date jitters, you know, where like you're excited but you're also nervous because what if it's gonna let you down, or what if you got ghosted by a really good pitch? That's how I feel. So we're just gonna turn on the music, we're gonna start the timer, and we are gonna start this book. So I got a really good bit of reading in last night. I actually didn't hit 3 hours because it occurred to me that I actually woke up that morning at 4 a.m. So when I got tired really fast. So I ended up calling it a night early. But then this morning, it was so nice for both me and my husband to not have work. And we had a nice slow morning together.
You're telling me you
Oh, spinny chair, baby.
Washington, D.C. That's fun. That's when I found...
How do you feel about second place? No. Now I am officially at the part that's like right before the tournament that this book is about, and I'm on page 144. As I said before, it is 4th of July, so I am enjoying the holiday, and I'm especially enjoying the fact that Barnes & Noble's is open. We're actually going to be making a Barnes & Noble's trip in a little bit, but first let's talk about book A, All of Us Villains. So off the bat, something I really enjoy is that it does set itself apart from books like Hunger Games and Powerless, where there's a competition, because usually you're following the story from one or two characters' point of view. So you know that one or both somehow, like, they're gonna end out okay. You know, you don't know how necessarily, but you know that they are. And that's kind of the allure to those books, is you know who you're cheering for. What is crazy good and creative about this book is that you get the POV of, I think there are 7 competitors, and you get 5 of their POV. So like the other 2, it's like, okay, so clearly they're gonna die most likely at the beginning. I feel like that's always how that goes. But 5 characters have their stories being shared. There's so many POVs that it's really hard to know who's actually going to make it on top and who's actually going to die. Why it's not a 5-star for me, because I only have positive things to say, really, is that the magic system just feels a little, I don't want to say lazy, maybe like underdeveloped. Like, they still explain what the magic is and how it works and all that, but they don't really go into it. I'm used to reading magic systems where there's multiple books and they have more time to really like flesh it out. So maybe that's like a big part of this, is they're trying to explain how magic works in 2 books. But in my opinion, the main issue in the book is that there's a curse. The #1 goal of the main characters in the book is to break this curse. I really want to have a good understanding of the magic system, because then I can almost kind of like mentally be like, oh yeah, how can we break the curse? Almost like when you're reading a mystery novel, like you want to be able to help the investigators find who did the murdering, but I feel like I can't do that with this book. And that's like the one thing keeping me from like truly, truly loving and enjoying this book, is that I feel like I can't be a part of it. Does that make sense? I hope it does. What makes this so unique? In the past, it's always been like a secret. Like, no one's really known about the tournament, but one of the families, and it's like the family that always gets the rough end of the stick. Like, for example, the tournament happens once every 20 years and it's been happening for hundreds of years, but this family has never won. So in an attempt for, I don't even know what yet, I guess that's a big part of the mystery, one of the people from this family, identity unknown, published a book about the tournament, why it happens, like the history behind it, and then it basically just like exposed the whole thing. Now it has gone from like the super private thing to like a very public event. It's kind of like the Hunger Games in the way where some people are like so against it, but then other people think like this is the most entertaining thing. And they've almost kind of like justified the fact that a bunch of children are dying every 20 years because they're like, oh, well, it's just the way things are. It's just the way things need to go. Like, it's a necessary evil kind of idea, so we might as well make the most of it. Obviously, the government wasn't going to just sit by and let this happen without getting involved. So there's like some government officials like trying to wiggle their way into the tournament and force themselves to get involved so that they can have like a say in some stuff. Anyway, so that's enough about that book because I don't want to talk about it too much. So the next book I wanted to read, which is my book that starts with a B, I was supposed to get an e-copy from the library, but I just checked from the e-library and they're projecting that I won't get it for another 4 weeks. Because of the person who has it right now, I guess, is keeping it for a very long time. So it's definitely not going to be here by tomorrow. So I've decided that I'm going to Barnes & Nobles and I'm going to get it anyways. I've been trying to be so good about not buying a bunch of books, but this book that I want to get is the first in a trilogy. LOL, I'm not going to do that. That looks a little silly. It's the first in a trilogy and I have been dying to read this trilogy for a while. There's actually a bookstagrammer, I can put her right here. She posts about this book all the time. Every time she posts about something, I either read it and love it, or I have read it before and I did love it. So I feel like her and I have very similar book tastes. So I trust her judgment. I really know nothing about this book. I don't know the premise. I have no idea like what the blurb on the back is. I just know that this is a book that I think I'm really gonna love. So that book is Belladonna. We are gonna go to Barnes & Nobles and get that book today, and I'm very excited about it. I'm gonna focus on this braid for a second so I can finish it real quick, and then we can go to Barnes & Noble. I'm not sure if I hate it or love it. It's like a braid into a bubble. There was this girl that I knew in like middle school, and then we ended up going to the same college too, and she always does her hair in like these bubble things, and she looks so cute while doing it, but I feel like on me it just does not look right. I could also just like totally be not doing the hairstyle right. Your girl never said she was a hairstylist, that's for sure. I feel like I already hate it, but I think I'm gonna at least go to Barnes and Nobles with my hair like this and like force myself to wear it for a little bit and see if it doesn't grow on me. I doubt it, but we'll see. Do we hate it? Do we love it? I feel like if my hair was longer, this would be cute. Also, this might not be the top, but it's the most festive thing I have. The only other thing I have that's like 4th of July colors is a Polish t-shirt. Something about wearing a different country's flag on 4th of July just doesn't feel right. So we're not gonna do that today. Okay, I feel like I look a little less dumb and a little more festive. This is my homemade ruby shirt that I stitched with my mom. Don't look at that, Soka did that. She was a bad girl and jumped up on mama. And then I got blue in the denim. And then I swear I'm wearing red socks under here. And then the stitching's in red, so it works great. And I feel like the bubble braids look less silly with a sweatshirt and short combo. If I change my mind, these will most likely end up in pigtails. But yeah, also I'm wearing blue eyeliner. I know you can't see that, but I swear it's there. I got the book. I'm very excited. I don't necessarily love like faces on covers. I have a free donut coupon for a coffee shop that I have not been able to go to because every day that I'm available to go and I'm not working, they're closed. So they quite literally are only open during my working hours, and I take way too many work meetings to like work off-site. My plan is, since they're open today, I'm gonna take my books and I'm gonna crank out some of All of Us Villains. I'm really tempted, I'm not gonna lie. I really wanna start Belladonna right now, but I know if I start book B before I finish book A, I'm gonna finish book B before I finish book A. So we're gonna try to finish All of Us Villains today at the coffee shop with our free donut. I was right, the place was absolutely jam-packed, but the iced Americano was phenomenal and it was probably one of the largest donuts I've ever eaten. I ended up staying for about 3 hours and I got to page like 320, and I'm so close to being done with this book, but the place closed and now I have to head home. I'm honestly fine with that. The chair wasn't super comfortable, so I'm ready to read at home in bed or in a chair. I'm almost done with this book, and I think I have some way more formed thoughts, obviously, still spoiler free. I finally put a finger on why this book isn't amazing, considering the fact that there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. It is truly the magic system. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, I thought it was that, but now I know why. Every single book that I've read that's fantasy, that's been my favorite, I was able to get sucked into it and I wanted the magic that the characters had. The magic system in this book, it sounds more trouble than it's worth. Here's the thing. There are 2 different types of people. You're either one of these 7 families and you have magic, or you're everyone else. I would prefer to be everyone else in the situation. Not just because if you're part of the 7 families, you're likely to be selected for this tournament thing. It's not even about that. I would rather not have magic than have magic. It just sounds like such a liability. Like, it's so unpredictable. It's so hard to use. I don't know. It just sounds like way more trouble than it's worth. I'm definitely not like running to read book 2. I'm flying through the book because it is very fast-paced and it is written well. There are so many points of view in this book, but honestly, it makes sense. And all the characters are so different and so well developed that it doesn't even feel like I'm having to use a lot of brain power to read them. Honestly, I think one of the reasons I'm reading All of Us Villains so fast is because how excited I am for Belladonna. Do I love it? No. Am I enjoying it? Absolutely. I'm gonna go home and finish this book and then make some dinner. And then I am so pumped. This is our first 4th of July living in East Tennessee, and apparently our cute little downtown area does like this big 4th of July show. There's gonna be like a concert and fireworks and a whole bunch of fun stuff. I'm excited to just like spend the evening with my husband. We decided not to bring the dog, so we don't even have to worry about Soka. We can just like enjoy our time together and it'll be just like a fun little date. Okay, so I did just finish All of Us Villains, and I have a lot of thoughts. Honestly, it wasn't until the last 80 pages where it occurred to me that I just don't care about any of the characters. I didn't care what happened to them, and honestly, once like all the bad stuff started happening and like the very anti-happy ending started happening, I was just kind of like, okay. So I'm gonna say easily 3 stars. It wasn't a bad book, it wasn't a good book, it was a fun read in less than 24 hours book. I don't know if I'm gonna pick up book 2. I think I might, just because I'm a perfectionist and I don't see myself being able not to read book 2. But what I am very excited to say is now I can officially start Belladonna. Although it is about time to head out for the night, and by the time we get back, I'll probably be ready to crash. So I will be starting this tomorrow morning. I know nothing about this book. All I know is death waits for no one except her. And in my opinion, I love to make predictions about books that I know nothing about and then see how wrong I am later. I think this is going to be a Sleeping Beauty retelling. Something about the covers of these books gives fairy tale retelling. I'm gonna get some reading done in the morning, then I have a 4-hour half-day work day, and then as soon as I clock out, I'm gonna pick this bad boy up. It's the next day. We left the house at like 4 p.m., quite literally minutes after I finished talking to you guys. And not only did I forget my camera, but then I realized I forgot my phone as well. I just at that point took it as a sign to not vlog the experience. So decided to sleep in this morning and then read the first 2 chapters of Belladonna. And we'll talk about that in a second because that was a whirlwind. And then I worked my half day of work, but right when I clocked out, there was a little bit of an incident, including a marker in a washing machine, and my favorite pair of jeans were ruined. So then I went to the mall, and it's now like 3 or something later, and I haven't been able to pick up Belladonna. I will actually most likely be wearing these jeans to church on Sunday, so I'll do a whole try on for you guys and you'll get to see them. They're really, really cute. But let's talk about the criminal in the room. I read prologue in chapter 1, and when I tell you, this book is so unbelievably... The concept I'm already obsessed with. And nothing that happens in like the first 25 pages or in the first 3 to 5 chapters is a spoiler, so we're gonna talk about it. Literally, prologue, girl is 2 months old and everyone dies but her because everyone's poisoned, including her, and everyone dies but her. And death comes and gathers all the souls. Then we find out she's almost 20 years old. This character has actually died multiple times, like throughout her life, even before chapter 1, and every single time she sees death, and death is like a man, and he's never talked to her, but she's always been very curious about him and why he won't or can't take her. We're not really sure why. And also, everyone around her in her life does seem to die as well, which is also very interesting. And literally chapter 1 concludes with like she intentionally tries to herself, because she knows it's not going to work, in an attempt to like see him and like face him and talk to him. We don't know her full intentions yet. I'm sure that will be uncovered in chapter 2, but she's literally like summoned him on purpose, and he talks to her for the first time. And let me tell you, Death, he's got some saucy one-liners. He's really flirty. And if this book is a girl falling in love with death, I literally, if this is a love story between a girl who cannot die and death, I, like, just thinking about that, my brain is like going through all the different possibilities of like what kind of story this could be, and I'm obsessed with every single one of them. But besides that, I have 7 hours till my bedtime. If I do not read at least half of this, or majority of this, something went wrong. In a lovely turn of events, we lost power, but I have this. So I'm reading with a light up Harry Potter wand, and it's quite effective. Jump scare. I just really needed to work with some third day hair for a video I'm about to film, but we'll get to that in a second. Reading in a power outage is fun. The vibes are immaculate. It's unmatched, truly. Only issue, I don't want to call it a reading slump because I think that's a little too extreme. I feel like it's a mix of burnout and a reading slump in like the most minor sense of the terms. But basically all I want to do right now is bake cinnamon rolls and watch like Bambi. Soka, you're being such a good girl. Do you want to say hello? Hey Soka. Hey baby girl. You don't like this anymore? It's definitely getting hard to pick her up. Feels like a month ago I was able to just put her on camera for you guys, but you're gonna break my back. On to Belladonna. I did not get far because of said emotions. I got to page 102. It's a decent bit. We're 20% of the way through. I did feel like I needed to take yesterday evening and this morning to like recalibrate my expectations for this book, because in all reality, this book is really good. It's amazing. I will say though, as much as I'm feeling motivated to pick up this book and read right now, I do need to film the rest of this video, and I have like 3 hours left of filming to do. And you know how I said I kind of feel like baking cinnamon rolls and watching Bambi? I do kind of want to do that. But I think I'll read this while I do it, because if I remember correctly, no one except for maybe Thumper talks in Bambi. Am I correct in that? Now to talk about the book, what you're actually here for. I do really enjoy it. The only thing is, and maybe this will come with time, I don't know the main character at all. I want to say it's just because I just started the book, but in all reality, I'm this far in, so I should at least have something about her character. I know like facts about her. The authors talked a lot about what she looks like, so I have a very strong visual of what she looks like. Obviously, I know her history. I know what she wants in like the current situation that she's in, but I don't really know much about her. Is she more of a driven person? Is she super stubborn? Is she a people pleaser? Like, I don't know that stuff. A good author doesn't have to tell you those things. You should be able to dissect it based off what you're reading. But I don't even feel like I have enough to really know what Signa is like. Signa is the main character. I will say though, Death is a vibe. I love Death. He is such a fun character. I have a couple theories revolving Death. I'm surprised how dark this book is. I thought this would be like a cute, fun spring romance because of the cover, but realistically, this is like prime October reading. If you're considering reading this book, don't let the cover fool you. This is totally like a spooky fall vibes book. I think I really do like this book. I think I just went into it expecting it to be way more than it is. Although I will say some of the theories that I had are still have not yet been proven wrong. So I'm holding to some of my theories to see which ones are true. But because this is like spoiler free, I don't want to tell you what those theories are, because then if they get confirmed or not is going to give away the ending for you. But you'll just have to take my word for it if my theories are correct. Also, this vlog is taking way longer to film than I thought, so it's low-key pushing back my filming schedule a whole week. But that's fine. Honestly, totally worth it, especially because of Booksy. And I know I keep hyping up Booksy, so I hope you guys are also as excited about Booksy as I am. Honestly, if I read Booksy in a day, I will not be surprised. All right, I'm gonna film and then start making cinnamon rolls, and we're gonna read a book while watching Bambi, I suppose.
If you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all.
Hey guys, it is the next day. Yesterday was a dream. It was literally perfect. Honestly, completely changed my mood. So I'm pumped to keep going today. But I made the cinnamon rolls, which by the way were phenomenal. And then I watched Bambi, which by the way is so depressing. Like, I honestly forgot like the plot. Like, I knew the big moments of what happened in the film, but I kind of forgot everything, like that Bambi was a prince and like all that kind of stuff. Thumper is still my favorite character. That has not changed, but I literally felt like I was reliving my childhood. Like, there were literally scenes of like the raindrops falling off of leaves And I remembered that so vividly. Like, it unlocked memories from like when I was 4 years old. It was very therapeutic, I must say. And then, get this, I ended up being totally glued and locked in the whole movie, so I didn't read it all like during the movie, but as soon as the movie was done, let me just say, I read the next chapter. Can you believe? I feel like this always happens to me. I'll put a book down because it's either not picking up or I'm upset by something that happened, and literally, like, if I had just read one more chapter, I would have been locked and loaded. The next chapter was literally so good, it changed the entire genre of the book. So I'm glad I didn't read the back, because it ends up that like that plot twist was on the back, so I like that I didn't expect it. Do I think I probably would have been more determined to keep reading 2 days ago if I had known that was gonna happen? Yes. Am I also kind of glad I didn't? Sure. By the way, I did make it to page 180, so I'm almost halfway through. So I feel like I can say now that Signa definitely has more of a character. I wish it didn't take that long for us to really get something from her, but unfortunately it did. I'm not mad about it though. I do like her as a character. Do I feel like I could still get a lot more? Yes, but she's starting to make more sense to me. Also, I knew there was going to be romance in this book. Like, everything about it was like giving romance, but I will say it's definitely developing in a way I did not expect. I feel like at this point there's like 3 potential suitors for Signa. Like, it's not even like a love triangle, it's like a love square. Honestly, it could go any of the 3 ways. And I'm not mad about it. I definitely know which one I want, but I also wouldn't be mad if it was any of the other 2 either. But I am officially ready for church, which we're leaving in a little under an hour. So I'm gonna try to fit in a couple more chapters before we go. But as promised, I told you I'd show you guys my jeans. Ignore the dirty laundry, but these are them. And I love them for a bajillion reasons. One is that the rips start down here. And I mean, all the power to you if you love high rips, but I really just needed some jeans that didn't rip so high. And these just feel really good quality, and I like how they're actually long on my legs and touch the floor. I feel like most of my jeans have always been like almost cropped, and I've never really loved that look. I am going to pick up Belladonna, and we're just gonna chill on the couch and read until church time. I definitely think we're gonna finish this today. No, we are gonna finish this today. So I did finish Belladonna, and then I did give Soka her bath, which could have gone less chaotically, but hey, she's clean. It gave me some time to reflect on Belladonna. I really want to give this book 5 stars. I'm just gonna start off there. This book was so good. Realistically though, it might be a 4.5 star book because it definitely had its issues. It definitely had its quirks. As predictable as I thought it was gonna be, I kept being surprised. Like, the last 100 pages was so full of like artistry. It's the one reason why I'm hesitating to give it like an actual 5 star. It did not necessarily need 400 plus pages. I honestly think that this book could have been written very well in 350 pages, maybe even less. So it is going to be a 4.5 in my brain, but Goodreads is rude and they only let you do 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 stars. So I think I'm actually going to put this in Goodreads as a 5 star because realistically, if I think about the books I've given 4 stars to in the past, I feel like that doesn't do this one justice. And realistically, the next book in the series is Foxglove, and that starts with an F. And the next video I'm doing is D, E, and F, and I'm like 90% convinced that F needs to be Foxglove, unless one of you specifically recommends a book that starts with an F that is more interesting to me or catches my eye more. So that being said, before I present book C, I will encourage you, if you know a really good book that you think I'm going to give 5 stars and it starts with a D, an E, or an F, please put it in the comments down below. I will be thoroughly researching every single book recommended to me in the comments because I do not take this alphabet challenge lightly. This is becoming my personality and we haven't even finished episode 1. As for book C and why this one is very special is that the OGs will know that this is a very special book to me because it actually got its own video. Not many books get its own video. It usually shares with a couple other books. But this one particularly was special because it was also the first book I ever annotated, and that is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Words cannot describe the way I absolutely fell in love with this book. Like, if I could give it a 6-star rating, I would. First of all, look at all these tabs. I know that's not a lot realistically, but the only reason was because I was running out of tabs and I was on vacation for part of reading the book, so I couldn't buy more. I also have some up here. I also have a ton of notes and highlights in this book. There's realistically not that many words per page. I'm gonna fly through this, especially because I already know the plot, so I'm not gonna be like dissecting every single little thing. It's also just gonna be really fun to read all my notes. So I'm very excited. This is something I've been dying to do for over a year, so I'm very pumped to reread this. And I'm just not going to waste any more time. I'm going to get started on this book. So it's the next day and none of that actually happened. So that's great. I read the prologue. Haven't even started chapter 1. Guys, it's so embarrassing. I read the prologue and then my husband was like, oh, do you want to watch a TV show together? And I was just like, you want to watch a TV show with me? And I couldn't say no. So then we watched a TV show together. And then it was bedtime. And then I went to bed. And I woke up to go running this morning. And I was like, I feel ill. So I went back to sleep. And I slept for another 2.5 hours. And I woke up just in time to make my coffee and start work at 8. So it's now 6:30. And now I'm starting. So can we say like the 24 hours starts now? Maybe? What do you think? But here's the other thing. I don't know if I'm just like having a beginning life crisis right now or what, but I started 75 hard today. This is my 3rd attempt. First time I got so sick and then I did my outdoor walk in the freezing cold rain and then got significantly more sick and then had to stay in bed all day the next day. And then the second time I did it, apparently a gallon of water a day was way too much for my body and I got oh, what's it called? I got this, whatever this is. That happened to me and it was honestly one of the worst experiences I've had in a very, very long time. So this time I'm doing things differently. I'm only gonna do a half gallon of water, and if I can drink more, I will. So that being said, I do actually need to go for that run. I'm feeling better, as you could probably tell, but it's also really hot outside. So I'm gonna wait until the sun is starting to set, and then I'm going to go do my outdoor workout. I have like an hour to read this, and then I'm gonna run, shower, clean the house, meal prep for the week, and then who knows, maybe I'll get back to reading, but then I need to be in bed by 10 to make sure that I have time to wake up in the morning and go running before work. So I've also decided I'm going to be running a half marathon by the end of 75 hard. I don't know what I'm overcompensating for right now, but there's definitely something there. But I'm not going to waste any of your time, and I'm not going to waste any more of my time. And we're going to read this book for the next hour to hour and a half. Hello. Would you believe it's the next day? A challenge that was supposed to take 4 days is taking a lot more than that. I recognize that and I apologize for that. Today's look is inspired by working remote and not having any on-camera meetings. So that's why we're getting what we're getting today. I am on page 90 and let me tell you, not only is the font pretty big in this book, but also I've read it before and I know the plot, so I'm not as focused on like getting all the details. I'm really just focused on like enjoying it. So I am flying through it. I will say, I'm hilarious. Like when I tell you, I have laughed out loud multiple times based off the notes that I put in this book. This was a mood annotate. Anything that I liked was underlined in black pen and anything that I loved was highlighted in gray. And that was really just like a, ooh, I really liked how she worded that. A situation, a play on words, a plot twist, like I would do it in black and gray. But if it was super emotional, I had a red pen and a red highlighter. And honestly, it was the perfect color scheme for this book. The tabs are, honestly, That's a great question. The tabs, pretty much if there was a highlight, the chances are there's a tab. So that's like if I want to flip through the book quickly, instead of having to like flip until I find a highlight, I can just pull at a tab and see the highlight. Towards the beginning, I put a couple of these black sticky notes in here in a cool metallic pen because I'm cool like that. I wrote any predictions that I had about the book. What's really funny is that I originally did that intending to go back when I finished the book the first time, but it didn't cross my mind. I didn't do that. So now I'm doing that while I'm rereading it, and I'm cracking up at myself because there are some things where like I hit the nail on the head. I totally predicted it. Yeah, somehow I was still totally thrown by it when it happened. But then there's other times where I wrote down a prediction and I'm just like, ooh girl, not only like was I so wrong, but like the opposite happened. So I am just loving this. Now, we're gonna keep reading. I don't know if I'm gonna finish this tonight. I know, I'm so sorry, I really am. But realistically, in order to get that half day, remember that half day I took at the beginning of this challenge? I had to work extra hours this week. So then I already had less hours to film this. And then I'm also doing 75 hard. And I'm doing 75 hard to train for a half marathon. And then just to put the icing on the cake, my workplace is doing a steps competition. And at first I didn't really care. Not that I didn't care. I was really excited about the possibility. But literally on day one, I was already so discouraged because there were some people getting like crazy steps in a day. And I was like, there's absolutely no way. Like I have way too much going on. But then it literally hit me like yesterday, today. I was like, you know what? The only person who's saying I can't do this is me. I could do it if I wanted to. So almost in a way to like prove to myself that I can do anything I set my mind to, I'm competing. Now, mind you, the person who's gonna get first place is like in full sicko mode every single day. I'm not even gonna get close to that person, so I'm aiming for second place. So I had the fun idea that I'm going to walk a trail and get some steps in while I read this book. So that way I'm taking an active rest day. It's gonna be considered an outdoor workout for 75 hard. It's going to contribute steps towards my work, and I'm reading for this vlog. Also, I just genuinely enjoy this book. We are going to hit the trail. I do have like a goal of steps that I want to hit, so we're pretty much just gonna walk until I hit that step goal. Walk, read the book, probably watch a Star Wars movie, probably Han Solo, because we're trying to watch them all chronologically right now. And then maybe I'll read a little bit before bed. But if I do not finish this book today, which I most likely won't, we are finishing it tomorrow. I will not rest. I will not go to sleep until this book is done.
I've been out of my head, can't get out of bed. Too much on my brain, but got it good, can't complain. It's like I'm losing my mind, and time's hard to find. What's a girl gotta do to catch a break up? When life tries to test me, I take it one day at a time.
So I hit page 230, which means I guess I read 140 pages. And then real quick, because I pretty much dragged you into this agenda against your will, I have made 26,792 steps today. I'm very proud of this. Anyways, that's not what you're here for. You're here for Caravel. Obviously, I showed you a couple of the things I wrote in here, and they're like the more silly, superficial things. Anything else I wanted to show you guys that I had underlined would have been considered a spoiler, which really sucks. So maybe one day I'll make a spoiler version of Caravel, because I could talk about this book for hours. Oh, I forgot to tell you this. Anytime I underlined something in gold, it was like a golden nugget. Do you always focus on what you're giving up rather than what you'll be gaining? Some things are worth pursuit regardless of the cost. Like little things like that. There was one that I read that quite literally took my breath away, and I like stopped walking for half a second, and I was just like, oh, Stephanie Garber really said that. I told my husband I'd be home by 7:15, and it is 7:13, and I live 2 minutes away, so I should definitely hit the road and not worry so much about finding this one quote. Oh, here's another one. It's not the one. So Scarlett, the main character, says, I think I've made a mistake. And then one of the characters responds and says, then make it into something better. I don't know why, but something about reading that halfway through the walk gave me the biggest motivational burst. I wanted to cry. Like, it was just so beautifully written. Here you are on a magical island and all you can think about is what you don't have. That one's not as punchy, but like, I felt that in the moment. I'm sorry guys, maybe I didn't underline it in gold and I've been looking for gold this whole time. Oops. Do we think I can finish that tomorrow? We'll have to wait and see.
Hold your breath, kid.
Alright, so I am back at the trail and I am ready to finish Caravel. Now, I have 170 pages left, so I'm thinking I walk 6 miles today and then hopefully finish. And if I haven't finished, then I need to finish this book today. Like, I need to not even entertain the idea because we've officially been doing this for a week. I was planning for this video to take 4 days, maybe 5. So the fact that we've officially been doing this for a week and I still have 170 pages left of a book, it's kind of killing me. So I got out of work a couple minutes ago. It is now 6:20. I am going to hit the trail and I'm not gonna walk obviously past sundown because once I get home, we are watching the next thing chronologically in the Star Wars universe, which would be the first episode of Obi-Wan. Let's finish this book and then we'll do a little recap. It's been an adventure. I was trying to remember what book A was and I forgot what book A was. So we'll actually cover that in the recap because I think that says a lot about the book. But 2, I also think that we've had a lot of conversations. We've done a lot of talking. I'm honestly so scared this is going to be a 1-hour vlog. Guys, when I tell you I have enough footage to make this a 1.5 hour thing. Like, it's going to be a movie. I'm going to have to make some serious cuts. If this is under an hour, just know that I made some serious cuts. It's just so humid and muggy. Like, I'm literally dressed like I'm working out because this is going to be a workout. I'm going to sweat to death. Oh, there's a bee outside my car door window. No, thank you.
'Cause I was crying yesterday, but look at me today. It has been so long since I wrote a sad song. Sunshine on my face, I'm feeling okay. Nothing's in my way. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I put a dress on today. I don't care what you say. And I'm ignoring my phone, so don't try to reach me. I can't do nothing for you, so don't ask.
Give me like a couple minutes. I have 11 pages left, so we're just gonna, because listen, I refuse to go to sleep tonight without finishing this vlog, so let's go.
One day at a time. 'Cause I was crying yesterday, but look at me today. It has been so long since I wrote a sad song.
I just finished Book C. Let's talk about our books. Let's bring up our chart, our beautiful empty chart. We're gonna start with Book A, All of Us Villains. Was it enjoyable to read? Yes. Was it amazing? No. Would I recommend it to anyone? It's not very complex, so it's really good for someone who's not a reader, who's not looking for all those fun complexities and all of that. As for Book B, we read Belladonna. Belladonna was honestly so phenomenal. I cannot wait to read the next book in the series, and thankfully it starts with an F, so I'll be reading that in the next ABC series, unless you can recommend another book that starts with F that seems more intriguing. I really want to look up Pinterest boards of like the aesthetics of this book series, but I'm so horrified it's going to give me spoilers, and I'm enjoying it so much that I don't want spoilers. We'll get there after we read Book 3, which I think literally just came out. And then of course for Book C, Caravel. Now, Caravel is honestly so amazing. Like, it reads really easy. In my opinion, there's a lot of golden nuggets in there. It's so beautifully written. Like, if I could sit down and have lunch with Stephanie Garber and just pick her brain, my life would be complete. There's just something about every single character that she writes, every world that she writes is stunning. And the fact that, y'all, I don't know if I told you this before. I just found out that she's making a 4th Caraval book. Apparently it's like book 3.5, so it's probably going to be more like a novella, but it's literally called Spectacular, and it's coming out this November. I could not be more pumped to read that book. Like, words cannot express how badly I need to read that book. I need that book like I need oxygen. But that being said, that is the end of this first episode of the ABC Reading Challenge. So if you have any recommendations for D, E, and F, please let me know down in the comments. And I will do some research on Goodreads, and then we will read them in the next ABC Reading Challenge vlog. But if that episode's not out yet when you're watching this, you should definitely watch some of my other reading challenges and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get notified every single time I upload a brand new video.